Hi loves, it's Lacey and welcome to our space. So today's video, we are going to be making some high-end lanterns with my Cricut Maker 3. So let's get started. Hi, and welcome back to my oldie book goodies. And if you are new here, go ahead, take a moment, hit the subscribe button, and become a subscriber here at Lacey's Space so you can keep up with all of the new things that I'm going to be doing here on my channel, like using my Cricut Maker 3 to make these beautiful lanterns. The Cricut Maker 3 is Cricut's top-of-the-line ultimate die cutting machine that cuts over 300 different materials. And it also has technology with the smart materials to cut without a mat, 2 times faster without the mat, and up to 12 feet at one time. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to do is open up Cricut's design space like I've done here. This is the software that comes with your machine when you purchase it, and it allows you to design all of your projects inside of here. And you can also become a member of Cricut's Access, which gives you over 280,000 images and a lot of different feature projects that you can make on a monthly service. So here I have clicked images over on the side of my canvas, and now I am searching through floral stencils. I typed that in the search bar, and this is all of the floral stencils that came up. I saw these before and I really wanted to use one of these to make my lantern, and so I'm just scrolling through to find one that I like. I absolutely love this blue one here that looks a little floral but not too over the top, and I want to make this lantern for spring. But as you can see, it's in a square, so what I'm going to do is change the size by pulling down on these little arrows on the side. Now I wanted it longer and wider, so I unlocked the little lock thing on the side, and I already know my measurements for this because I'm going to be utilizing some Dollar Tree products to help me make this, the actual 8x10 Dollar Tree canvas. So I want to make this to be the size to fit that, and for that it's 7 3/8 by 9 3/8. Next, I click make it so my maker can make this, and it tells me I need to make this on a mat. Because of the material that I'm going to be using, I am making wood veneer pieces for my lantern. So I have to do it on a mat. So I click wood veneer, and then I'm going to follow the prompts that the machine tells me to do. It tells me to put my wood veneer on the mat, and I'm going to be using this in cherry. It comes in cherry, in maple, and I do believe walnut. I've used the walnut before and I absolutely love it. So here's the piece. It's a 12 by 12, and I have it down on my strong grip mat. I'm using my brayer to make sure it adheres really, really well. And then in a second, I'm going to take a couple of pieces of painter's tape and put it across the top and the bottom of this just in case. The machine didn't tell me to do this, but I'm doing it so that my project doesn't move. And I made sure that my tape was inside on the mat and not on the outside. Then it told me to load my material, and it just did that and checked to make sure I had enough so it was long enough to cut. And then I pressed the play button and my machine has started to cut. Now I sped up this footage. It cuts a lot slower than this on a mat, but no one wants to sit and watch me cut my material, so I'm just doing it quickly for you guys so you can see how easily it cuts and how nice the project turns out. Then I take off my painter's tape and I take off the excess that is not part of my project. And then I'm going to lift up my project off of the mat, and look at how beautiful that is. Now I still have all the excess pieces that will be weeded out of my project, and so I'm taking some Cricut transfer tape with my brayer, and I'm going to actually flip this over and peel it back off of the mat just to kind of keep the pattern together and have all of the pieces. Then next I'm taking my Cricut precision knife and I'm cutting away canvas off of one of the Dollar Tree canvases in 8x10 size. and then I'm going to peel off all the backing. That part will be trash, but the canvas on the front I'm going to keep for a later project. I do this to 3 canvases altogether. Then I'm going to take my project and I cut out 3 of them since I have 3 canvases, and I'm going to use some Gorilla wood glue and glue it on the front. I'm doing this because the wood glue will hold it very, very well, and I may use this outside in my gazebo when it is warm enough, and I want to make sure this project has staying power. So now here I have all 3 of those, and I have this long craft stick. I do believe I got these from Joann Fabrics, I'm not sure. It's almost like the craft sticks that you get at the dollar store, of course, but they are not rounded at the end. And I'm just cutting them to measure on the top and the bottom of each frame. Next, I'm taking this 2-pack of chopping mats from Dollar Tree, and I am going to be measuring them to fit on the back of each one of these where the staples were. I'm cutting them down with my Cricut cutter in order to make sure that they fit nice and snug, and they have a shiny side and more of a kind of frosted textured side. So I'm going to be then hot gluing the textured side down towards my project on the back side where the staples are. I'm doing this just in case there's any weather or any blowing or anything through. It will not get into the inside of my lantern. So then I had left over from another project this quarter round. It is flat on 2 sides and then rounded on the other side, and I am taking it and I'm going to glue it onto the side of one of my projects. But how I'm gluing it is on the rounded side, as you can see. I take the very edge of the rounded side and I glued down one of my 8x10 frames that I have now after I already put the other stuff on it. And as you can see, the rounded side is facing the frame. In order to do this, I just put hot glue down on the edge of that rounded side, and then I line it up evenly with the frame. I will show you here. See, it is very flat, right even on the edge of the frame. I do this to one of the frames by itself initially first, so that I can get a starting point to make my lantern. I only have 3 frames, and so my lantern's going to be in the shape of a triangle. Then I dry fit the other pieces to the frame and then add glue to the other frame to put on to one side of this lantern. And I line it up on the side of it so it's nice and straight. Then I'm going to pull it in slightly, as you can see here, and dry fit the other one. This is because it's a triangle and I want to make sure that they're in the right area before I glue them all down. So now I'm going to glue one side and just the top and the bottom of this in case I get it on there crooked. I can pull it off easily to get it into the triangle shape that I need and I want. And then I'll do the other sides, and then I'll add some little extra hot glue on the inside to make sure it stays together. So I hope that made sense. As you can see, I have a full triangle and I have quarter round, but I did not put the flat 90-degree side in the middle. I put the circular side in the middle. Now I'm taking some more of my craft sticks. I have a bunch of these. I ended up getting them in a pack or something. I don't know. They were in my stash, and I'm cutting them down. You can use popsicle sticks. Just cut the ends off if you have them, like the craft sticks from Dollar Tree, but they're going to be shorter and you'll have to piece them together. I am now filling in all of the sides to cover up where you can see the canvas and make it look nice and neat for our lantern, where it connects from the quarter round, and this is 3/4 inch quarter round, to finish our lantern. As you can see now, it looks nice and neat. I actually put on the inside at the top some of the craft stick. Like I said, I have a ton of it. I think for that long piece it's just over $1, or it was when I ended up getting it. Now I'm taking the extra pieces that I had left over, the inside that you would have weeded out. I'm taking some of them and I am covering up where the corners meet on the top, just to make this look nicer. I took 2 of the longer pointy ones that like made petals, and you could stop there. You don't have to put this 3rd one. I actually put a 3rd one, and then I put one of the little circles that like made the middle part on each one of the corners. You could do probably just the 2 longer parts, and then I flip it over and I'm going to put some feet on it. And I have these little would-be looking things, but they're actually tops to Jeulia hot sauce. My Chad loves Jeulia, and so every time we empty a bottle, I keep the little tops to it because they make perfect feet on things. You know, when you're crafty, you come up with these things. And then you guys know how extra I am. I always want to put some kind of adornment on whatever I do, and so I'm using some more of the Dollar Tree die cut butterflies, and these are in the pink. I have a ton of these. If you've been on my channel before, you know I love to add them to all kinds of things. And I'm taking some craft wire in gold that came from Joann's or something. I've had this in my stash forever. Bending it in half and then bending the tops over in loops with those needle nose pliers, and then putting it in the middle of 2 of these. I like to back them back on each other because the backs are white, and then I fold it in half and put some glue on the back, and I can stick it onto my lantern, and this is what it looks like. I absolutely love this. I think it turned out so well. I actually added some little pieces of decorations down on the legs too, just to give it a little more oomph, because you guys know I'm extra, and so I always have to add just a little bit more. So next, we're going to do another DIY. I have some Waverly antique wax, and I'm putting it on some more canvas frames that I ended up getting from some Dollar Tree smaller ones. I think they're 4 by 6 inches. I'm not sure exactly. But I'm going to cover them up and then wipe it off with, and it makes it kind of a stain. And I kept all of the canvases from this one. I'm cutting them down to where they would be flat on the side, on the front of it, and I'm using them on like the burlap side. And I'm going to, after the canvases are ready and the frames are dry, glue them down to the back. So I'm going to glue down with the burlap looking side facing inside of the canvas. That's the side that's up right here, but when you turn it over, it's the white side. It's the side that you would actually use to do your art on. And then I'm taking some of the excess pieces that I had left over, and I'm trying to come up with a pattern. The problem here with this pattern is these are all different sizes. I didn't realize the ones that looped around were all different sizes, and some are different shapes as I'm showing you here. So I didn't have enough to do that pattern, but I did have enough to do this pattern. I still have more left over, but I didn't want to overcrowd these little canvases. So this is the pattern that I'm doing. It's kind of some open hearts on either end, and the top part are more loopy on the heart part, and then the bottom part's like more open. So as you can see, they were all different, and I didn't even realize that at first. I'm just showing you that I slowly, even though I sped up this finish a little bit, am gluing them down, and they're all going to be slightly off, so don't worry about that. But I'm just using a little Gorilla hot glue with my Ryobi glue gun and putting them down as I go along. Once I get those all decorated, then I'm going to glue them together just like normal people glue these canvases together to make a lantern. I'm going to lay one down and glue 2 of the sides on the inside of that one, and then I'm going to wait until it is cooled down enough and hardened, and then I'm going to take and glue the top onto the other 2 sides. So I'm not putting them next to each other all the way around. I'm laying it down and putting 2 on the inside and then putting a top on that one. And then you're going to just have a perfect little kind of like square. It's more kind of rectangular this way a little bit, but it's kind of like a square. Then I'm taking some Dollar Tree nautical rope in the normal natural state. They also have it in a white, and I'm going to measure it out. I'm going to make sure that I glue down in the edge where they connect, And then I'm going to go around to the other side and glue down as well. But I'm going to make a loop at the top so it's sort of like a little handle. And I'm going to do this on both sides. I want to be able to pick this lantern up without having to pick up the whole lantern, you know, and make it look, I don't know, this kind of looks a little more like rustic, high-end glam. And I'm doing it on both sides of it. And I'm just going to measure to make sure the handles look like they're about the same height here. It doesn't have to be precise. And then hold them together in the middle because I'm going to be gluing the two middles together. I could have made them a little bit longer to make it just a little bit higher. You'll see that in a second, but I don't mind the way that I did it here. And once the glue is nice and hardened, I'm going to cut off the bottom. And then I did take a little boxwood from my stash and I glued it down on one corner, and I grabbed some more of the little butterflies. These have more of a cream and kind of a orangey tone to it. They're in with the monarch butterfly die cuts, and I'm just going to take two of them and bend them up and place one of them in the boxwood and then the other one on the opposite corner facing the opposite direction, and this DIY is done as well. I absolutely love how both of these turned out. I did glue those handles together in the middle. They kind of lean down. If I had the wired jute, it would sit up a little bit more, but I don't mind it at all. On the inside of it, I did light it up already. I put in an acrylic light that changes colors that's run by a remote control. And so it's changing colors as it's going here. It doesn't show up that much in this bright light. You can see it from the top, but at night it lights up really well. And here you can see both of them. Inside of the larger one, I am just using one of Dollar Tree's little Christmas trees, the little plastic white ones. I'll show you here in a second. There's my little acrylic light up that fits in that one. But this is the Dollar Tree little white plastic Christmas trees they have every single solitary year. It changes colors on its own, and I always keep one out for occasions like this when I want to use something to change color. So I love how these turned out. You have to tell me, do you like these? Would you attempt to do this? It was so easy to cut out the patterns on my Cricut Maker 3. This machine cuts so many different types of material, from vinyl to heat transfer vinyl that's like iron on. You can cut out cardstock and sticker and wood veneer. You can even cut out basswood, which is thinner wood, with this, and leather. There is so many things you can do with this. I love this machine so much, and I want to thank Cricut for sponsoring this video. I will be linking their website down in my description box down below, so you can go over and check out everything they have on their website and which machine will be the one that is perfect for you. Cricut is running a sale right now, so this is the perfect time to pick up anything that you've been looking for on their site. I also want to thank you guys so much for always checking out my videos, and if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye, loves.